Well, good morning. I'm Brent Adams here with your Rural Strong Morning Ag Report for this Wednesday, February 21st. Leading off the headlines this morning, the EPA is looking at slowing tailpipe emission limits, giving automakers time to boost electric vehicle sales, and a possible win for the ethanol industry. The New York Times, followed by the Washington Post, reported the change billed as a major election year concession to automakers and labor unions. But slowing tougher tailpipe emissions and a pending rule that first called for EVs to account for two-thirds of car and light-duty truck sales by 2032 could mark a win for corn ethanol. Renewable Fuels Association head Jeff Cooper argued earlier EVs still have too many flaws.
They, in most cases, do not deliver the range that was advertised, that they have problems in extremely hot weather or extremely cold weather, that there are problems with finding places to charge these vehicles.
EPA spokesman Timothy Carroll told the Post the agency is committed to finalizing a technology standard that is readily achievable, while automakers say EV sales have slowed. But Cooper says ethanol continues to deliver results.
If you are truly serious about reducing carbon emissions and doing it at the lowest cost possible for consumers and doing it in a way that doesn't compromise or sacrifice vehicle range and convenience, this is what we got to be looking at.
Cooper's group released a study ahead of its annual conference that the ethanol industry supported more than 72,000 jobs and $54 billion in economic activity last year, with corn buys alone totaling nearly $32 billion. Well, a newly released life cycle assessment found the U.S. soybean industry's global warming potential profile decreased considerably in 2021 for whole soybeans, soybean meal, and soy oil compared to previously reported findings in 2015 and 2010. Commissioned by the United Soybean Board and the National Oilseed Processors Association, the study assessed the main drivers of the environmental impact, including soybean cultivation and harvesting, transportation, and energy usage in processing. United Soybean Board CEO Lucas Lynch says the body of research helps farmers better assess and understand soy's contribution to environmental impacts throughout the life cycle of the entire soybean value chain. The study found that the soybean industry's carbon footprint decreased considerably in 2021 for all U.S. soy commodities compared to 2015, including a 19% decrease for U.S. soybeans, a 6% decrease for U.S. soybean meal, a 22% decrease for U.S. crude soy oil, and an 8% decrease for U.S. refined soy oil. Well, CropLife America, a national crop protection industry group, on Tuesday announced Alexandra Alex Dunn as its new president and chief executive officer. Dunn joins CropLife America after serving as a partner in the Environmental Safety and Incident Response Group at the international law firm of Baker Botts LLP. While at Baker Botts, Dunn worked on pesticide issues, chemical regulation, water quality enforcement, litigation, environmental justice, and community engagement. In 2019, with bipartisan support, she was confirmed with unanimous consent by the U.S. Senate to serve as Assistant Administrator for the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency's Office of Chemical Safety and Pollution Prevention, for which she served from 2019 to 2021. CropLife America Chairman Andy Lee says, quote, Alex's experience will provide guidance and leadership in both the policy and regulatory spaces, end quote. Dunn responded, I cannot think of a better moment than the present to work towards agricultural solutions that benefit the public and the planet. CropLife America partnered with the executive search firm Kincannon and Reed for the search. Well, getting equipment ready for the rush of spring planting can be a big chore. Greg Jones, Global Field Engineering Manager for Firestone Ag, says it's important that farmers properly set up their tractors.
The reason it's important is because what you're going to lose, if you don't have a proper setup tractor, you're going to spend more time in the field and you're going to burn more fuel. And that's not a good thing. What goes with that is the wear to the tire. You have possible damage. So those things are really the reason why you want to have a proper setup tractor. And then the last thing is if you do it right, you're going to promote a good crop. And that's really what we're trying to do. The lowest possible inflation pressure minimizes that compaction and improves the growth of the roots and the soil and the moisture that can get to those roots. That's the key to why you want to do this.
Jones talks about when farmers should check out or change their tractor setup.
These tractors are expensive, so what they try to do is get the most amount of work out of these tractors. So they could go go from something like they're doing row crop, and then they go to tillage, and then they go to harvest. There's different things or different applications that they use it. So anytime you're changing your application, you're going from maybe a 3-point to a drawbar, or you're going from tillage to planting, a change in the way you use that equipment is an opportunity for you to at least do a check. How you use that equipment and the way it's set up for that purpose and that attachment can change the way you need to set the tractor up.
There are key steps to take when setting up a tractor.
The first thing you're going to need to do is identify what kind of tractor do you have. Do you have a two-wheel drive, a mechanical front-wheel drive, or do you have a four-wheel drive articulating tractor? All you really need to know is the horsepower. But on the two-wheel drive and the four-wheel drive, it's the PTO horsepower. And on the four-wheel drive articulating, it's the engine horsepower. Then we can calculate a theoretical tractor weight. Once you have that total weight, then you can go in and do the weight split. The next step is to weigh the tractor. If you don't have access to scales, then maybe you have access to your local grain elevator. If not, then your closest Firestone dealer could help. That's going to tell us how we need to set the tractor up. Once we have that weight and then we have the theoretical split, then we can kind of see where do we need to take on weight or where do we need to take off weight. Once that's complete, then you can go into the setup for the inflation pressure. Once we do all that, everything's set from the standpoint of going through all the steps.
Farmers can ensure they aren't overloading their tires when setting up their tractors.
The best way is knowing the low capacity of the tires, which is on the sidewall. You can read that. You need to know the implement or the equipment that you're going to be using from that standpoint. That can also help you understand what kind of load am I putting on my tires. You can always reach out to your local Firestone Ag dealer or our field engineering hotline, and we can help do those calculations for you if you don't feel comfortable to do that. The biggest thing is just understanding the equipment and the weight that you're using on that equipment.
Farmers can consult their local Firestone dealer, local implement dealers, and videos on the Firestone Ag YouTube page. The field engineer hotline number is 800-847-3364. And finally this morning, it's National FFA Week, and today we wanted to share with you a message from National FFA Western Region Vice President Emily Gossett of New Mexico.
This is National FFA Week, and FFA students across the country are celebrating. I'm National FFA Western Region Vice President Emily Gossett from New Mexico. Many special and safe activities are happening in FFA communities this week, but all year long, FFA members experience education, leadership, service, and personal and professional development as FFA feeds our intellectual growth and curiosity. Celebrate with us and share your FFA stories during #FFA Week.
You can keep up with the latest from the world of agriculture by subscribing to the Tractors and Troubadours podcast from Rural Strong Media. Each week, I bring you agriculture industry newsmakers, hot-button industry issues, educational features, and the best in traditional country music. The Tractors and Troubadours podcast can be found at ruralstrongmedia.com or wherever you get your podcasts. We also invite you to join us daily on Rural Strong Radio, our 24/7 streaming radio station found at ruralstrongmedia.com or the Live 365 streaming radio app for your mobile device. Each day we bring you our award-winning agriculture programming, as well as the best in traditional country music, mixed in with a little bluegrass, western swing, southern rock, and inspirational music. Again, the place to find Rural Strong Radio is ruralstrongmedia.com or the Live 365 streaming radio app. We're portable, so take us with you everywhere you go while you're working on the farm or ranch. Let's get through the workday together. Well, I'll be back again tomorrow with another Rural Strong Morning Ag Report here on Steve Shetler Media. Make it a great day, everybody.